Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. When reaching the full level of Guoshu, he mistakenly treats Fan Tianlei as a criminal. After 10 years of seclusion, Chu Feng obtained full-level national skills and descended the mountain. As soon as I returned to the city, I met a colonel wearing military uniform, talking on the phone about a bomb. Immediately, Chu Feng mistakenly believed that the other party was a fake military terrorist. As the three good youth of the new era, he went up with a set of boxing techniques that left the opponent without any defense. However, after the police investigated it thoroughly, they found out that the so-called fake soldier was actually Fan Tianlei, the chief of staff of the Fang Special Operations Brigade. After this incident spread to the military region, it attracted everyone's attention even more. Zhijun. This soldier is a good seedling. Kang Lei. Come to our Iron Fist Troupe, I'll have all the soldiers practice with you. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Descending Youth, Brave and Righteous. Kneel down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Descending Youth, Brave and Righteous. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward on the square, there are crowds of people. Various small stalls for eating, drinking, and playing are everywhere, providing people with leisure and entertainment. In the crowd, Chu Feng appeared out of place with the surrounding environment. He was dressed in plain clothes, with an antique style. It's like an old man who fights in the park would wear it. Carrying a package made of grey cloth sewn together, it was bulging inside. Standing there, Chu Feng looked around in surprise. When he was a child, he was admired by his master, who said he was exceptionally talented and skilled in martial arts. From then on, he was taken into the deep mountains and forests, staying for more than 10 years. During these isolated years, his master taught him a lot. Simple things include starting a fire to cook, cultivating crops on farmland, and so on. Slightly difficult ones include identifying herbs, preparing medicinal pills, and so on. And his greatest skill he has learned is Chinese martial arts. From Tai Chi to level 8, from Xingyi to Shaolin. Chu Feng couldn't remember exactly how many martial arts he had learned. Because by the end of his training, his kung fu had reached a state of mastery. At the beginning, without any moves or movements, go straight to the essence. If there is a level in Chinese martial arts, then its level can be said to be at full level. At the age of only 20, one has reached this level. It cannot be said that there is no future, but it is absolutely unprecedented. Chu Feng remembered that his master, who had always been strict, looked at him with satisfaction and pride at that time. Chu Feng himself was also very happy about this. From then on, master's body deteriorated day by day and rapidly weakened. Before his death, his master pulled him to his side and warned him. After I leave, you can go down the mountain to pursue your own life. But there are some things you need to remember. National art. Born as a cultivator, entered as a martial artist. Fighters' lives are in battle, it's not just a child's play. I will impart what I have learned throughout my life to you, without requiring you to do anything earth-shattering. Just be a good person who abides by laws and regulations, and continue to pass on the traditional Chinese culture. After saying these words, the master smiled and left. After taking care of the master's affairs, Chu Feng went down the mountain. Afterwards, he came here. A coastal city in Donghai province. The reason for choosing this place is because Chu Feng wants to see the sea. Once, when his master taught him, he often said such things. People should be like the sea, with a heart that embraces all things. Having lived in the deep mountains for over a decade, where has Chu Feng seen the sea? So his first stop after descending the mountain was in this city by the sea. At that time, Chu Feng was attracted by the bustling square and couldn't help but feel a little emotional. The smoke and fire of the human world are the most soothing to the hearts of ordinary people. This sentence is indeed correct. Looking at those smiling faces, Chu Feng's mood also improved. After stabilizing the package on his back, he turned and walked towards the direction of the sea. At this moment, he could already smell the salty and humid atmosphere, and the sea he was looking forward to was not far away. At this moment, Chu Feng's ears suddenly moved. He heard some jarring words. Chinese martial arts have brought him more than just some martial arts skills. His physical functions have also become very strong after more than a decade of suffering. For example, now he can hear someone whispering things like bomb and explode with just a touch in a chaotic environment. Although isolated from the world, he is not illiterate. His master also taught him a lot of modern knowledge. Of course he knows what the bomb is. Completely dangerous goods. How could it appear in such a bustling square? Following the sound, Chu Feng quickly locked onto the speaker. That is a guy with a big face and a thick neck, and a creepy appearance. Wearing a military uniform, hiding in a corner making a phone call. Quietly leaning over, Chu Feng wanted to hear what the person was saying clearly. It doesn't matter if you believe me or not. The bomb in that bag will explode in 10 minutes. How to deal with it is up to you to choose. After finishing these words, I saw the person hanging up the phone and looking down at the square with a smile on their face. A smile doesn't make any sense, it's just very annoying. Following the man's gaze, Chu Feng saw a young man wearing a hat, picked up a backpack, and ran out in panic. I kept jumping and moving all the way, bumping into many passers-by. Even knocked over 2 food stalls. And behind him, there was a man wearing a headscarf chasing him, shouting, "My phone." Seeing this, Chu Feng's pupils contracted slightly. It seems that we have really encountered a terrorist attack this time. And the initiator is the guy with a lewd smile on his face. This guy is still wearing military uniform and pretending to be a soldier. How cunning. After all, when an explosion occurs, who would suspect a soldier? My thoughts turned rapidly, and Chu Feng was about to take action. Now the bomb has been taken by the guy wearing a hat. Moreover, the young man wearing a hat has some effort in every move. Transferring the bomb to a safe location in 10 minutes should not be a problem. Since that's the case, then he should catch this extremely vicious criminal. Before going down the mountain, his master told him to be a good person who abides by laws and regulations. It's natural for a good person to catch a bad person. It may sound complicated, but these are all Chu Feng's momentary thoughts. Immediately, he chose to take action. Moving his feet, he silently leaned towards that person. Chapter 2. Beat up fake soldiers. Showcasing national art. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Beat up fake soldiers. Show off national skills. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward after Fan Tianlei finished the phone call. Watching He Chengwang's rapid departure, he smiled. He is very satisfied and pleased with He Chengwang's choice. Well, go to the police station now and wait for those 2 good seedlings to come to your door. Turning around, Fan Tianlei was taken aback. He found a young man standing behind him, dressed simply but particularly handsome. Looking at him with burning eyes. Subconsciously, Fan Tianlei thought he was blocking someone else's path. I had to lean over and say, "Sorry." Before he could finish speaking, a fist the size of a sandbag came straight towards his face. Fan Tianlei frowned as the muscle habits he had developed through years of training made him react directly. Footstep span, waist twists, upper body dodges sideways. But the result was not as he had hoped, and the owner of the fist seemed to have anticipated his actions. With the same sideways twist, his fist unexpectedly hit him in the direction he was about to dodge. Ultimately bang. The dull sound of boxing rang out. Fan Tianlei was punched hard on his face. And in the eyes of outsiders, it was Fan Tianlei who used his face to receive the fist. Inexplicably punched, Fan Tianlei was instantly blinded. The first thought was, in public, someone attacked a soldier. The second thought is, I was actually punched by an ordinary person. The third idea is, I am exploring good seedlings for the army. Why hit me? As a soldier, Fan Tianlei did not immediately counterattack. He wanted to inquire about the reason, but just opened his mouth. Bang Bang has 2 more punches. These 2 punches are even heavier than the first punch. Surprisingly, the fight made him feel dizzy and almost unsteadily fall. Fan Tianlei shook his head and it took 2 seconds for him to react. I got beaten again. Still 2 punches. This time, his left eye turned directly into a panda's eye. The right cheek is bulging as if it's stuffed with a big date in its mouth. Is there any natural reason? I am a soldier. Can't you see that you're wearing military uniform? Even if he's not a soldier, he can't hit people like this without any reason, can he? Fan Tianlei flew into a rage. Immediately, with a military-style demeanor, he rushed forward. Fight with that thug. But after 3 or 2 moves, he was kicked back again. The other eye has also turned into a panda eye. Fan Tianlei was extremely angry, but his eyes became even more serious. This is a master. Fan Tianlei secretly made an evaluation in his heart. As the Chief of Staff of the Fang Special Forces Brigade, although he has rarely personally participated in the battle. But I still have a solid foundation in military education. Even so, can't you stand 2 moves on the other person's hand? Who is this person? Where did it jump out from? They came straight at me. Are they insects lurking in my dragon kingdom? Is the purpose to assassinate senior members of our military? But how dare he dare in broad daylight in public? Aren't you afraid that I'll call Fang to surround him? Fan Tianlei couldn't figure it out. Conflict in the corner. It quickly caught the attention of the surrounding people. People who enjoy watching the excitement immediately gathered around. Especially seeing one of them wearing military uniform made everyone even more excited. Soldiers hitting people. Not right. It seems like soldiers are being beaten. Is this soldiers arresting criminals? No, why is that person wearing regular clothes? Perhaps this soldier happened to hit during his rest time. Should we help him? He seems to be at a disadvantage and can't beat him. Don't participate recklessly. What if you help? Let's call the police quickly. Yes. Alarm. Chu Feng sighed. He knows that his martial arts are very impressive, and any punch is unbearable for ordinary people. So, without knowing the other party's physical fitness, he first probed and punched. When you find that the other party can still bear it, he increased his strength and punched twice. The first battle down the mountain, Chu Feng wanted to take the opportunity to understand. How much strength does it take to deal with ordinary people on your own? So as not to act recklessly and damage someone in the future. So, after provoking him with 2 punches, Chu Feng casually fought with the person. When he heard the comments from the onlookers, his brow furrowed. This guy's disguise is really good, making passers-by think he's a soldier. But my master once said, soldiers, they are a group of heroes who defend their country at the foot of the mountain. But the person in front of me, my face is big and my neck is thick. When I called before, I had a lewd expression when I smiled. Most importantly, he even dropped a bomb on this square. Can this be a great hero to defend our country? Absolutely a true terrorist. Thinking of this, Chu Feng no longer hesitated. Looking at the thief in front of him still wanting to resist, he immediately used his Tai Chi strength to dissolve his attack. Then he twisted and pressed it backwards, and pressed it down to the ground. Then Chu Feng shouted to the onlookers. This person is a fake soldier. Upon hearing this, Fan Tianlei struggled to explain. But Chu Feng reached out and pressed down on his joints, unable to move at all. What? Fake soldiers. That's right, look at him. He can't hide his lewd face even in military uniform. Yes. On the contrary, this little brother has a strong sense of justice based on his appearance, very handsome. Does he still dare to struggle? Let's go, we can't stand idly by. Add me, you dare to pretend to be a soldier. I'm tired of living. The news of pretending to be a soldier and cheating is not uncommon. Combined with the contrast in their images, the onlookers quickly believed in Chu Feng. So several enthusiastic citizens immediately stepped forward to help and bound Fan Tianlei with all their might. Fan Tianlei, whose mouth was also stuffed with a towel, had a face full of lovelessness. As the Wolf Fang's special forces, he was so easily defeated by someone. As a soldier of the Dragon Kingdom, he lost so badly. Moreover, he was also tied up by the masses as a fake soldier. Why don't you just die? At this moment, the siren sounded. Police cars appeared one by one in the square. Fan Tianlei's face suddenly showed a ray of hope. Chapter 3. Help from the masses. 100 words are hard to argue. Kneel down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Help from the masses. 100 words are hard to argue. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward great help. Fan Tianlei showed a surprised expression. Then he lifted his head hard and stared at Chu Feng. I secretly thought to myself. Crazy bastard. Dare to take action against active duty soldiers without reason in broad daylight. You're done. If I don't reveal all your identity, background, and purpose, I won't be called Fan Tianlei. The methods used by special forces to interrogate people in emergency situations come to mind. Fan Tianlei couldn't help but smile sinister. Chu Feng dared to stare at himself and laugh when he saw this thief. Pop. A strange force hit Fan Tianlei's back. Fan Tianlei screamed out in agony on the spot. This one won't kill anyone, nor will it leave any injuries. But it will penetrate into the human body, causing strong pain. At this moment, the police evacuated the crowd and surrounded them. When hearing Fan Tianlei scream, a police officer immediately warned loudly. Don't move. Raise your hands above your head. Lie on the ground. When receiving an alarm, it is difficult for both the operator and the police on duty to understand. A soldier was beaten up by someone who didn't know who he was. Their first reaction was, are there still such useless soldiers? As a profession cultivated by the country, it is aimed at combating violent elements. Unexpectedly being abused by an ordinary person. After arriving here, I did see a soldier bound. After being slapped by a young man dressed plainly, he screamed uncontrollably. In an instant, their impression of this soldier dropped to the lowest point. Just give you a pat and you'll scream. This is still protecting our country. Is it embarrassing to lose it? But no matter what, as police officers, they still have to do their job well. First, rescue the soldier. So the leading squad leader immediately shouted loudly. But the subsequent development of the matter completely exceeded his expectations. I saw that the young man had not yet spoken, and the people next to him immediately started talking nonsense. Police comrade. This person is a fake soldier. Little brother is a good person, we subdued the fake soldiers together. Listening to the crowd's words, the team leader's gaze turned to Fan Tianlei, with a sudden expression on his face. No wonder. How could a real soldier be so useless? Comrade, how do you know he's a fake soldier? The captain immediately believed 7 or 8 points in his heart, but still needed to confirm. Chu Feng solemnly said. He is not only a fake soldier, but also a terrorist. He put a bomb in a bag. Bomb. Where is the bomb? Upon hearing this, all the police officers were so frightened that they were shocked. If there is a bomb, it's not something they can handle. This requires dispatching bomb disposal troops over. When Fan Tianlei heard Chu Feng's words, he was so angry that he blew his beard and stared blankly. What? Is it because of this that he came over to beat me up? In a fit of anger, he spat out the towel from his mouth and roared loudly. My bomb was meant to test people. Just as Chu Feng shouted out, he exerted another force, and the pain hit again. Fan Tianlei screamed again, unable to speak. Then Chu Feng stuffed the towel onto him again. The police widened their eyes upon hearing Fan Tianlei's words. Is there really a bomb? This is a big case. The first reaction of this team leader was to evacuate the crowd first. So he immediately said to his colleagues beside him. Quickly evacuate the crowd. Step back 50 meters from the warning line. At this moment, Chu Feng stopped him. He put the bomb in his backpack and threatened people on the phone. The package has been picked up by that person now, so it should be transferred to a safe location soon. Upon hearing these words, someone among the onlookers immediately said. Oh, I know. It's the young man who just popped a balloon. I told him how he ran away holding a bag. It turns out there's a bomb inside. Yes, I saw it too. That young man only ran away with the bomb after answering a phone call. Many people saw that scene, and now with Chu Feng's supplementation, the two things have been immediately connected. Upon hearing this, the team captain also remembered. When they came out of the station, another team also went to the police one after another. It seems like the location is around here. Thinking of this, the team captain immediately contacted another team. Hey, Lao Zhang. Why did you get into trouble with the police? How are you now? The voice on the other end of the phone was panting, as if running. Oh, don't mention it. A man, running wildly with a backpack. There's another person chasing after him, saying that the person in front snatched his phone. We're still chasing after it now. Why are you asking this? Upon hearing this, the captain's face became solemn. There is really a package. Most likely, the bomb is also inside. The team leader became excited. This is the biggest case he has encountered in his career. There is hope for meritorious service. Expected promotion. However, we need to handle the current situation first. The team leader immediately put in 100% energy to deal with the situation in front of him. Comrade, we will verify the situation you mentioned. Next is our scope of work. Leave him to us. Chu Feng nodded and handed Fan Tianlei over to the approaching police. After standing up, Fan Tianlei, with a blue nose and swollen face, stared fiercely at Chu Feng with bloodshot eyes. In fact, upon arriving at the scene, the team leader's gaze was also fixed on Chu Feng. I don't know why, he just feels like the young man in front of him is dressed simply and very handsome. More dangerous than so-called bombs. An inexplicable sixth sense. Could you please come with us too? Chu Feng dusted his clothes and nodded in agreement. Upon seeing this, the team leader felt relieved and ordered. Take them back to the facility. Chapter 4. Notify the brigade commander. Shame on me, I lost my hair. You are listening at novel.Audio. Chapter 4. Notify the brigade commander. Shame on me, I lost my hair. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward police station. The interrogation room. Fan Tianlei's hands were handcuffed and locked in a chair. My face is full of grievances and resentment. He can't figure it out, he just came over to recruit a few soldiers, how could so much trouble have happened? Not only was he misunderstood and beaten up, but he was also handcuffed by the police. I still have to undergo interrogation at the police station now. What kind of thing is this? He is the Chief of Staff and Colonel of the Langfang Special Operations Brigade. Now he has been taken to the police station as a fake soldier or a real terrorist. If this matter returns to Wolf Fang, where should he put his old face? How could he have the face to command those little brats? This is simply unbearable. What angered him the most was that he was treated as a terrorist. But the kid who hit him was just taking notes. On the way back to the office, he was closely guarded by the police. That kid didn't even put on the handcuffs, he looked like a brave citizen. This is the most annoying. Feeling the still faint pain on his face, Fan Tianlei became increasingly restless and angry. At this moment, 2 police officers pushed the door in. Sitting at the interrogation table with a serious expression on his face. One of them is the squad leader who brought him back. The other one looks quite stable, like a leader. This is our director, please honestly explain the situation. I don't need to repeat the principle of leniency in confession and strictness in resistance. First of all, why did you create a fake bomb and play a prank? Now the people chasing He Qingguang have also returned. They all know that the bomb is fake. Fan Tianlei snorted coldly. If you know the bomb is fake, why are you still handcuffing me? Fan Tianlei was not used to being treated like this for the first time. At this moment, the team leader said with a cold face. Even if it's fake, you can still be charged with disturbing public order. Additionally, you are also suspected of impersonating a soldier. Do you know this is illegal? Tell me your story honestly, don't talk so much nonsense. Taking a deep breath, Fan Tianlei said solemnly. My name is Fan Tianlei. He is a genuine soldier. There is my identification in the inner pocket of the top. This fake bomb incident was conducted by me to test a person's personality. That person is a good soldier. Upon hearing this, the team leader and the director exchanged a glance. Upon hearing the confident answer from the other party, the two of them suddenly felt at a loss. The director asked in a low voice. Do you not search even when you arrest people? This. Negligence. The captain awkwardly stood up and quickly went to search for Fan Tianlei's body. In fact, it was not his negligence, he was just overwhelmed by the credit. Just thinking about catching people, where do you remember to search? Quickly, the team leader found Fan Tianlei's identification. As he read out the words word by word, the captain's voice became increasingly trembling. Name. Fan Tianlei. Position. Wolf, Special, War, Brigade. Can, Plan, Chief. Rank. Up. Colonel. At the end, the captain's volume increased by 8 degrees. The director gave him a disdainful glance and snatched away the documents. After browsing the above information, the director's face turned solemn. As a soldier, he can tell that this document should be genuine. Most importantly, he knows the name of the Wolf Fang Special Forces Brigade. This is the only special forces in the theater that imitate foreign military operations. Belongs to the special forces within the special forces. The elite among the elites. It is a place that every soldier dreams of wanting to go. If the Chief of Staff of the Wolf Fang Special Operations Brigade is really caught, then this is a big deal. Staring fiercely at the team leader, the director returned the document to Fan Tianlei. We don't know much about Wolf Fang. I can't just listen to your one-sided words. Do you have the contact information of the troops? Let me confirm on my end. Fan Tianlei reported a string of numbers expressionlessly. The director immediately called over. Wolf Fang Special Forces Brigade Base. In the brigade commander's office. A deafening sound exploded. What kind of thing? Fan Tianlei was arrested by the police. The commander of the Wolf Teeth Special Operations Brigade, Zhijun, was filled with shock and anger. At first, upon hearing the news, he was surprised by how a soldier named Fan Tianlei could be caught by the police. Then, thinking about it, I suddenly became furious. What outrageous thing has Fan Tianken, this idiot, done? Running over to inform Zhijun, the little soldier Hui reported. According to the police, Chief of Staff Fan is falsifying bombs in the downtown area. Being subdued by enthusiastic citizens as terrorists. Upon hearing this sentence, Zhijun felt that his worldview had collapsed. I'm so. Fan Tianlei, this idiot. Can he still do something that a normal person can do? Zhijun smashed the water cup onto the ground. Creating fake bombs in the downtown area. Still subdued by the citizens as terrorists. Is this something that humans can do? Shaming. Shaming the faces of soldiers. Bring the car over to me. Find someone who knows the way to be my driver. Anyway, that's my own chief of staff. If something happens, he has to personally handle it. Chapter 5. The brigade commander personally rescues people. Angry Spit Fan Tianlei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The brigade commander personally rescues people. Angry Spray Fan Tianlei. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward Chapter 5. Zhijun's love for talents, Fan Tianlei, whose embarrassing story spread far and wide. At the entrance. 2 military cars stopped, and Zhijun walked down. The director quickly welcomed him upon seeing it. His eyes casually swept over Zhijun's shoulder, and his heart couldn't help but be shocked. Surprisingly, it's 24 cents. It seems that I really caught the wrong person this time. Hello, Chief. Zhijun casually saluted and asked as he walked. What exactly is going on? He was thinking about this all the way in the car. It's really hard for him to figure it out. Let's not talk about fake bombs for now. As a soldier, how could Fan Tianlei be subdued by enthusiastic masses? Can't we take action against the masses? Can't we still run? The director succinctly explained the whole story of the matter. Chief of Staff Fan, in order to. Listening and listening, the anger that Zhijun had just calmed down on the road ignited again. Fan Tianlei was actually beaten up by someone. The officers of the Grand Special Forces can't even defeat the ordinary people. What a shame. It seems that he is too stable as the Chief of Staff. Life is too leisurely. After returning, we must let this sinkhole follow the people below to train. However, as he walked, Zhijun stopped in his tracks. He suddenly reacted. No matter how useless Fan Tianlei is, he also comes from a special forces background. Although he became the chief of staff, he neglected training. But there should still be some residual skills all over the body. How could it be defeated by an ordinary person? Comrade Director, how long has Fan Tianlei been fighting with the other party? The director shook his head at the words. I'm not sure about the specifics. We need to wait until the surveillance video is called back to confirm. However, I heard that the young man is quite impressive. Chief of Staff Fan was in his hands and was defeated within a few moves. My team leader also said that he always feels a palpitations when facing that young man. Zhijun nodded, feeling secretly shocked in his heart. It seems that this son is by no means an ordinary person. Facing special forces alone, one can easily win. It can also make the police feel palpitations. It seems that he is a martial arts practitioner. A person with power is a reflection of their essence, energy, and spirit. This can be seen from soldiers. People who practice martial arts also have a similar temperament. However, in this era, such people are becoming fewer and fewer. Anyone who possesses this temperament is a person with exceptional strength. Quickly, the director led Zhijun to the room where Fan Tianlei was located. Seeing Zhijun, Fan Tianlei almost burst into tears. A face with a blue nose and swollen face forced out an expression that seemed neither crying nor laughing. Captain. I. Before the words could be spoken, Zhijun glared and cursed. Fan Tianlei. Making fake bombs in the downtown area. What's in your mind? It's impossible to get into the water. Fan Tianlei finally met his family and wanted to complain. I didn't expect the brigade commander to come up and curse at him. Looking at the injury on Fan Tianlei's face, Zhijun became even more angry. He originally thought that if Fan Tianlei was beaten up, at most he would be beaten up with a stick or something. But now it seems clear that he was beaten by someone who was also unarmed. The punch marks on those two panda eyes and swollen cheeks are clearly visible. As the chief of staff of Wolf Fang, you are a special forces officer. Unexpectedly beaten to half-death by an unarmed young man. You've ruined Wolf Fang's face. The more he spoke, the more angry he became. Zhijun picked up the folder on the table and smashed it over. Fan Tianlei didn't dare to hide either, he could only stand there and bear it. Endless grievances rose in my heart. After all, I ended up like this just to recruit soldiers. He thought the brigade commander could still care about himself when he arrived. Unexpectedly, what came in exchange was cursing and blame. But now, nothing he says is of use. What made Zhijun angry was that he couldn't beat an ordinary citizen. This is a fact, he cannot refute it. He can't say that the other party is really impressive, he's not an opponent, right? In that case, Zhijun will definitely not let him go. It's even possible that he got fired. A commanding special forces officer cannot defeat an unarmed young man. So incompetent, be a damn chief of staff. Why not go home and sell sweet potatoes? Zhijun took the water handed over by the director and drank it all in one gulp. Tell me about the kid who beat you up. I also cursed and spread the fire. Zhijun's curiosity about the person who beat up Fan Tianlei grew again in his heart. In other words, he developed a love for talent. It's better for someone with such skills to be recruited into the army. Wolf Fang needs this kind of talent. Fan Tianlei explained the matter in detail. Of course, adding oil and vinegar is essential in the middle. Saying that he is constrained by his unwillingness to take action against the masses. Only then did they catch their weakness and give them a chubby beating. Zhijun couldn't help but sneer at this. That facial injury hasn't gone down yet, it's really blowing. Even if Fan Tianlei had such concerns at the beginning, he would definitely give it his all in the end. When soldiers are attacked, it's not that they can't fight back. This Fan Tianlei is simply unable to fight. After listening to Fan Tianlei's account, Zhijun summarized one sentence. Fan Tianlei should have no fighting power in front of the other party. This is very scary. A civilian martial artist can train himself to the point of crushing special forces. Although this special forces soldier is semi-useless, that's also amazing. Seeing Zhijun's expression, Fan Tianlei was greatly surprised. Because he is very familiar with this expression. That's clearly what he looked like when he saw Chengwang. The brigade commander is going to recruit people into the army. Captain, people with violent tendencies are not allowed to enter the army. One mouse will spoil the whole pot of porridge. Glancing at Fan Tianlei, Zhijun couldn't help but think in his heart. I see you're the rat poop. He made the move because he misunderstood that you were a terrorist. This indicates that he is a good person with courage and conscience. Don't bring your personal emotions into it. And isn't someone with such skills exactly what we need? Let's go, take me to meet this expert. Upon hearing this, Fan Tianlei also nodded. Indeed, aside from personal emotions, he also had to admit it. That person is indeed a good soldier. Although he still felt uncomfortable in his heart, the brigade commander spoke up and it was difficult for him to say anything. I can only take Zhijun to find Chu Feng. But the two of them didn't know. The scene of Fan Tianlei being beaten has spread to the entire military region. P.S. My little brother knelt down and begged for a flower, a reward, and a monthly pass. If there were any, my little brother would immediately explode. Chapter 6. Spread across the military region. Door-to-door digging. Kneel down. You are listening at novel.Audio. Chapter 6. Spread across the military region. Door-to-door digging. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward. Chapter 6 refuses to join Wolf Fang. As the saying goes, good things never go out, and embarrassing things spread far and wide. The scene of Chu Feng beating up Fan Tianlei was captured by onlookers and spread online. This matter quickly spread throughout the entire military region. Everyone who knows Fan Tianlei applauds and cheers. There is nothing else, just because in recent years, Fan Tianlei has traveled to various units, digging out too many of their talents. If that's all, everyone wouldn't hate Fan Tianlei so much. Only a few people have been selected and passed the assessment to enter Wolf Fang. More people are selected and eliminated in subsequent assessments, thus returning to their original units. These talents are the ones who hold the greatest grudge against Fan Tianlei. Seeing Fan Tianlei being beaten up like this, of course they felt relieved. I wish I could transform into the person in the video and give Fan Tianlei 2 fists with my own hands. However, the people below were only pleased to see it, while some focused more on Chu Feng. When facing Fan Tianlei, that kind of indifference, casualness, and lightness is not just a pretense. It can be seen from the video that Fan Tianlei was completely crushed. There is no strength to fight back. This is a talent. Many company leaders, battalion commanders, and the like have seen the video. The first reaction is this sentence. The second reaction is that this must attract us here. So they immediately sent the video to their leader. The headquarters of the Iron Fist Regiment. Team leader's office. Gong Jian held his phone and showed the video to the team leader Kang Lei. At first, Kang Lei didn't take it seriously. He heard that Fan Tianlei had been beaten and continued to mock him. But as I watched, my face became solemn. In the end, it turned into a surprising appearance. This skill is too fierce. Are you coming to join the army? How can such talents be buried in the market? You must come to our Iron Fist team to shine and heat up. Gong Jian nodded and said. Captain, I think the same way. If you also agree, then we need to accelerate our pace. Not to mention other troops, just Wolf Fang. Kang Lei immediately slammed the table and stood up. What about Wolf Fang? First come, first served. After speaking, immediately have someone prepare a car and rush towards the police station. Tiger Regiment base. The same scenario also occurred here. The trained soldiers watched in confusion as their battalion commander hurriedly left the camp. The sound of urging me to drive faster came from the car. Technical Investigation Battalion, Reconnaissance Company. Each ace unit is like a shark smelling blood. Everyone rushed towards Chu Feng one by one. So, when Zhijun arrived at the room where Chu Feng was staying, shocked to find that the room was already filled with people. Zhijun looked at it. Good guy, they are all acquaintances. The commanders of all the ace troops in the entire military region are gathered together. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel a deep hatred in his heart. My hands and feet are still slow. Smelled by these grandchildren. Then he turned his head and glared fiercely at Fan Tianlei. If it weren't for this delay, he would have arrived earlier. However, on second thought, Zhijun also relaxed his mindset. With so many people, I believe things have not been decided yet. Then he has a chance to take the person away. After all, his reputation as a wolf tooth is much louder than that of some Iron Fist or something like that. Normal people will not give up the opportunity to join Wolf Fang. And here, I see Zhijun and Fan Tianlei. Each battalion commander first saluted the highest-ranking Zhijun. Then they all looked at Fan Tianlei with a mocking expression on their faces. I don't know if I don't see it, my goodness. The nose is blue and the face is swollen. The beating is really fierce. Kang Lei and others couldn't help but secretly give a thumbs up to Chu Feng. Fan Tianlei couldn't detect the small movements of the people inside the room. For a moment, my face turned black. These people who appeared here must have known about his beating. Being embarrassed in front of so many acquaintances makes Fan Tianlei feel even more ashamed than being beaten up. Zhijun bowed back to everyone and joked. It seems that everyone's intelligence work is done well. I arrived so quickly. Everyone glanced at each other, and Kang Lei stood up and said, Captain He, aren't you Wolf Fang only recruiting non-commissioned officers and officers? What are you doing here? What non-commissioned officers and officers? Which regulations or military rules are written on them? Upon hearing this, everyone couldn't help but burst into a bitter smile. It seems that Zhijun is planning to be a scoundrel. However, it's also true that rules and regulations are not just a matter of one sentence from others. The incident of making exceptions and special moves has not happened before. But for them, it's not a good thing. Although they are all ace troops, they are still far behind Wolf Fang. After all, many of Wolf Fang's people were selected from their troops. Whether it's training, weapons and equipment, as well as annual training funds. Compared to them, Wolf Fang is far ahead. So, this is also why Zhijun was able to remain calm and composed after seeing so many people coming. However, Zhijun clearly underestimated the attractiveness of Chu Feng and the determination of the officers. I can't say, we still have to fight for it. The talents of the past have all been dug out by your wolf teeth. This time, we can't let it happen again. Looking at the people in front of him, Zhijun couldn't help but shake his head. It's just that I'm not willing to work hard on the outside. Even if Zhijun doesn't fight or grab, as long as Chu Feng knows the background and status of Wolf Fang, can he not want to join? Then he scanned around and his gaze fell on Chu Feng, the only one in the room who was not wearing military uniform. Hello, you are Chu Feng, right? Chu Feng frowned slightly as he looked at his outstretched hand. Then he habitually responded with a boxing salute. Zhijun's eyes lit up when he saw the situation. Not only did he not get angry, but he showed a look of appreciation on his face. This proves that Chu Feng, as he guessed, is a very skilled martial artist. Just to introduce it. My name is Zhijun, the commander of the Wolf Teeth Special Operations Brigade. The Langia Special Operations Brigade is the only special forces unit in the entire military region that imitates foreign military combat modes. It is also the most powerful special forces in the entire military region. Comrade Chu Feng, it's a pity that you didn't join the army with your skills. I am here to formally invite you on behalf of the Wolf Fang Special Forces Brigade. As long as you are willing, you can enter Wolf Fang directly without assessment. Zhijun believes that he has shown great sincerity. Just look at the expressions of those group leaders around you. It's such an exaggeration to join the army without assessment and directly enter the wolf's teeth. You should know, as mentioned earlier. Every soldier who enters the Wolf Tooth Special Operations Brigade is originally the ace soldier of each unit. Then, it is necessary to go through layers of selection and persist until the end in order to truly become a member of Wolf Fang. And now, Zhijun actually spoke up personally, exempting the assessment process. This is an exception in the exception. The captain's expression instantly became discouraged. How else can we grab it? Where have you ever snatched it? Something shocking happened to them. Chu Feng, dressed in plain clothes, faced the sincere invitation from Zhijun. Unexpectedly, he just casually uttered 3 words. I refuse. Chapter 7. Never associate with Fan Tianlei. Kneeling down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Never associate with Fan Tianlei. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward. The sound of Chu Feng echoed in the room. Everyone's expressions stiffened for a moment. A face full of disbelief. Subconsciously thinking that it was Chu Feng who said the wrong thing. Zhijun's face was instantly covered in black lines. The whole person was full of confidence from the beginning, but now their face is full of confusion, even unbelievable. He is a bit puzzled. What are the reasons why people can refuse to join Wolf Fang? Why did Chu Feng refuse so decisively? Do you know what you're talking about? Fan Tianlei looked at Chu Feng like a fool and said. Surprisingly, someone refused to join Wolf Fang. Surprisingly, someone dares to refuse. Fan Tianlei has been walking in the military district for so many years, and he is a popular presence wherever he goes. Of course, officers like those regimental leaders definitely don't welcome him. But the soldiers below, every time I hear him coming from Wolf Fang. Every time I hear him invite me. Which one is not happy and bumpy? Every sharpened head wants to add wolf teeth. But now, how could someone refuse? Still in the situation where the brigade commander spoke up. What a ridiculous thing this is. Faced with Fan Tianlei's doubts and confusion, Chu Feng looked directly at him and repeated word by word, I say, I refuse, refuse. Everyone heard more clearly this time. Zhijun suddenly showed a look of, I understand. Then he turned his head to look at Fan Tianlei, as if he wanted to swallow him alive. Later, Zhijun repeatedly confirmed to Chu Feng. Comrade Chu Feng, do you refuse to join the army or join Wolf Fang? Chu Feng's gaze fell on Fan Tianlei and he said calmly, I don't want to be with such people. A person who is playing with a bomb in the downtown area is considered a fake bomb. That's not what Chu Feng should think of as a soldier. Moreover, Chu Feng has been practicing martial arts for many years, and his favorite person is someone who is honest and upright. And people like Fan Tianlei have a lewd face and are not at all honest. It's really not the kind of comrade Chu Feng had in mind. Meeting someone like this, if it's just a face-to-face meeting, it's okay. If you want to become a comrade in arms, Chu Feng cannot accept it at all. So he simply refused Zhijun's invitation. The leaders next to them all had a happy expression on their faces. This meaning cannot be further clarified. They don't resist joining the military, they just don't want to join Wolf Fang with Fan Tianlei. Seeing this, Kang Lei and others regained their radiance on their faces. Chu Feng rejected Wolf Fang, then they have a chance. Without the formidable opponent Wolf Fang, they all have great confidence in themselves. When he heard Chu Feng say the reason for his refusal, Zhijun was completely angry. However, his anger was not directed towards Chu Feng, but towards Fan Tianlei. Previously, from Chu Feng's attitude, he vaguely sensed that the reason for rejection was probably related to Fan Tianlei. Now it is indeed like this. Zhijun turned a black face and glared fiercely at Fan Tianlei. That seems to be saying, if it weren't for you, would Wolf Fang have lost this talent? Fan Tianlei also panicked. He not only lost Wolf Fang's face, but also because he made Wolf Fang lose a talent. I guess it really angered the brigade commander now. Wolf Fang withdrew from the competition queue, and the rest of the people felt relieved and laughed happily. However, after laughing, they looked at each other cautiously. Now, whoever can grab Chu Feng depends on their own abilities. At this moment, Iron Fist Team Kang Lei said first. Comrade Chu Feng, come to our Iron Fist Troupe. Our Iron Fist Regiment is a border defense regiment, and there will never be any scams like Fan Tianlei. Upon hearing this, Fan Tianlei glared angrily at Kang Lei, but after being stared at by Zhijun, he didn't say anything. Now that Zhijun is not leaving, it is obvious that he still holds a glimmer of hope. At this point, if he causes any more trouble, maybe the last hope will be gone. The brigade commander insisted on peeling his skin. At this moment, Chu Feng's eyes lit up slightly and he looked at Kang Lei. My master once said that soldiers are great heroes who defend their country and country. And among the soldiers, those who guard the border are even more heroes among the heroes. If he wants to do something after going down the mountain, he can use his national skills to defend the border. Is the Border Defense Corps a unit guarding the border? At this point, Chu Feng inquired. The Iron Fist Regiment is a border defense regiment, isn't it a unit that guards the border? Kang Lei is overjoyed, only those who are interested will have doubts, and there is even more hope. Immediately explained. Right, right. Our Iron Fist Troupe is like an iron wall on the border. Everything our team does is to protect the sacred border of our motherland. Comrade Chu Feng, come to our regiment and be sure. Chu Feng nodded at the words. Upon seeing this, the other team leaders immediately explained how their team was doing. But Chu Feng remained unmoved at all. At this moment, still unwilling, Zhijun spoke up. Comrade Chu Feng, your dream of enlisting is to guard the border. Guarding the border is just one way to protect our country and country. Become a special forces soldier and carry out high-risk tasks. This is also protecting our country. Regarding this, Chu Feng said lightly. Our martial artists, who show off their fists and feet, cannot be considered heroes. Our ultimate pursuit should be to protect our country and borders. If you only want to be a special forces soldier and shine in the army, that's better than a mediocre life. My martial arts skills are the best for me to devote myself to guarding the border. This leader, I'll go to the Iron Fist Troupe. The last sentence, Chu Feng said to Kang Lei. Kang Lei was overjoyed and held on to Chu Feng's hand. Welcome, Comrade Chu Feng. My Iron Fist team will definitely not disappoint you. Seeing this, the other team leaders couldn't hide their disappointment on their faces. But they didn't pay too much attention either. Everyone spoke up to congratulate Kang Lei. Zhijun said to Chu Feng. Although you didn't come to me, Wolf Fang. I'm glad you have this kind of enlightenment. As I said before, wherever we go, we defend our country. Welcome to join the military family. Watching Zhijun extend his hand again, Chu Feng hesitated and shook it up. Compared to Fan Tianlei, he has a relatively good impression of this leader. Here, Kang Lei counted the seconds and saw that the handshake was almost complete. Immediately stepped forward and pulled Chu Feng away. I finally got it, don't be fooled by someone halfway. So, Kang Lei immediately left here with Chu Feng. Head straight for the headquarters of the Iron Fist Regiment. P.S. Has anyone seen it? I kneel down and beg for a flower, a reward, and a monthly pass. If there is any data, I will release the 100,000 saved manuscripts. Chapter 8. New recruits gather. Kneeling and begging for flowers to beat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. New recruits gather. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward the headquarters of the Iron Fist Regiment. Trucks with big red flowers hanging at the front of each car parked in a row. A new soldier named Egg got off the car with a curious expression on his face. Then, under the command of the veteran, they reluctantly stood in line, relaxed and limp. At this moment, the old black squad leader roared angrily, "Get down!" All the new recruits squatted down in confusion. Gong Jianlang said in a voice. Hello everyone, my name is Gong Jian. He is the instructor of your new recruits company. Do you know why I made you squat? Because you are standing, it affects the scenery here too much. As usual, speaking to strike new recruits, Gong Jian suddenly saw the regimental commander's car coming from the side. The car stopped and Kang Lei got off with Chu Feng. At this moment, Chu Feng had already taken off his plain clothes and changed into the camouflage uniforms of the new recruits. Kang Lei led Chu Feng to Gong Jian's side and said. I'll leave him to you. Yes. Captain. Upon seeing this scene, the new recruits murmured their opinions. Who is this person? He came alone in a car. The team leader is still there to accompany me. Nyo Dafa. In the crowd, Wang Yanbing snorted coldly. There are also those who enlist through the back door, and this unit is not doing well either. Next to him, He Chengwang also thought to himself. My grandfather was a former commander, and my father was a former wolf-toothed sniper, neither of whom received such treatment. What exactly is the origin of this new recruit? Over here, Gong Jian glanced at Chu Feng and his eyes lit up. Are you the soldier who beat the chief of staff Wolf Fang down? As soon as these words were spoken, a burst of amazement erupted among the new recruits. The old black squad leader shouted angrily twice before suppressing it. Some people have seen videos online and were shocked at the time. Unexpectedly, in reality, they encountered someone who was still in the same unit as themselves. Immediately, he thought to himself, I will try to get close to it and learn one or two moves. Those who have not watched the video also learned something through the narration of others. Suddenly became shocked. Did you beat up the chief of staff before enlisting? This is too bold. How could such a person not be caught and still join the army? And it can also be personally delivered by the team leader. Can only say one word, cow. He Chengwang's eyes were shining brightly, and his face had a hint of confusion. So this is the person with high martial arts skills who beat up Uncle Fan. In the flow of his gaze, a hint of war overflowed. Wang Yanbing spat disdainfully and couldn't help but think. Is that all? I dare to beat you up too. Then he looked at the back of Captain Kang Lei as he left, and finally shook his head slightly. Then he turned his gaze back to Chu Feng, with a fiery expression on his face. Defeating him doesn't mean I can also beat the chief of staff. Li Erniu asked He Chengwang around him in confusion. Is chief of staff Wolf Fang? A very large official. He Chengwang whispered back, it's similar to our group leader. Upon hearing this, Li Newton cast a shocked gaze at Chu Feng. In his heart, a high-ranking official like the regimental leader has already surpassed the sky. Surprisingly, some new recruits dare to beat up people of this level. No wonder they were personally received by the team leader. That's amazing. Be sure to make some friends later. Chu Feng felt a bit uncomfortable with the attention from the whole audience. Can I be listed now? Upon hearing this, Gong Jian quickly said, okay, join the list. He didn't expect the commander to actually snatch this soldier over. For a moment, I was a bit lost in thought. Chu Feng moved, and the eyes of the whole audience followed suit. Chu Feng took a look and then walked to the last row to squat down. Gong Jian nodded in satisfaction and then began dividing the new recruits into teams. As each name was pronounced out, new recruits kept standing behind their squad leader. After the list was read out, Chu Feng remained on the field at the end. Chu Feng was the last to enter and was not on the list. Gong Jian thought for a moment and immediately assigned Chu Feng to Lao Hei's class. Because he knew there were two spikes there. Perhaps we can use Chu Feng, a stronger guy, to suppress their temperament. And when He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing saw Chu Feng approaching, they both showed a faint smile. In the future, there will be many opportunities for competition in the same class. Li Erniu looked at Chu Feng standing beside him. Immediately revealed that iconic and honest smile. After distributing the new recruits, each squad leader brought them back on their own. On Lao Hei's side, a new round of strikes has begun. I am your class monitor. Because I am ruthless and ruthless. They all call me the old black class monitor. But you can only call me class monitor. After a series of blows, the dishonest Wang Yanbing was punished, and He Chengwang and Li Erniu were also implicated in doing push-ups together. After these series of scenes, Chu Feng probably understood the style of the army here. Discipline first. Collective first. All selfish desires will be suppressed. Chu Feng was not surprised by this. Since we want to protect our country and family, we still need to do these things. This is what he sees as a soldier in his heart, so that he can become the great hero in his master's mouth. Instead of pulling the hips like Fan Tianlei. And Chu Feng didn't feel uncomfortable either. After all, for more than 10 years on the mountain, he basically lived this kind of life. Clear mind with few desires. When his master taught him, he was much harsher than the black-faced old class leader. After finishing the lecture, everyone should bring it back and divide it into dormitories and beds. In the dormitory, He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing bunked up and down. The two had friction before, and now neither of them is convinced. In the eye contact, sparks are about to ignite. And as Chu Feng passed by, the two of them looked over at the same time. The eyes were filled with disapproval and war intent. Li Erniu saw that Chu Feng was his upper bunk and immediately smiled and said, "Hello, my name is Li Erniu. Please take good care of me in the future." Due to Chu Feng's history of beating high-ranking officials, Li Erniu was a bit afraid and didn't dare to reach out. Upon hearing this, Chu Feng just nodded lightly. After tidying up the dormitory, the whistle sounded outside. Gather the whole class. The training started right away. Chapter 9. Competition between new recruits. Kneeling for freshness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Competition between new recruits. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward the new recruit. Career began like this. Receiving Chu Feng is endless training. However, with a full level of Chinese martial arts foundation, Chu Feng did not find it difficult to carry out training programs that tormented the new recruits to the death. On the mountain, he has experienced even more difficult physical training than this. So, for him, the training of new recruits is all about pediatrics. However, Chu Feng did not demonstrate his intimidating physical fitness. Master once said, "Don't be surprised by flattery or disgrace, watch the flowers bloom and fall in front of the court. I have no intention of leaving or staying, I hope the clouds in the sky roll and relax." This is the mentality that a strong person should have. Although Chu Feng has not yet reached this transcendent realm, he is not yet able to compete for the so-called first place in this kind of small and playful training. On this side, He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing, who also consider Chu Feng as their top competitors. After observing Chu Feng for a period of time and seeing that he did not excel, he gave up. I couldn't help but think in my heart that there is indeed a lot of moisture beneath the fame. A guy who performs mediocrely in all aspects is not worth their attention. Remove Chu Feng from his list of competitors, and the two of them face my Mang with sharp hands, shouldering it. There was already friction between the two, and neither of them was convinced. During training, there is a natural competition and a sharp confrontation. You push up 200, I must exceed 200. You run first, I must catch up. In this way, the two individuals with already good physical fitness, after a period of time, are far ahead of the others. Of course, except for Chu Feng, who does not want to appear holy in front of others. On this day, they welcomed a new training subject. Do arm support on the parallel bars. He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing naturally began to compare again. The two of them stood side by side, facing each other, glaring angrily at each other, and so they started doing it. And the quantity quickly exceeded 100. This is already astonishing among the new recruits. Everyone is cheering for them. At this moment, the old black squad leader walked over. Are you trying to ruin my parallel bars? Report. No. Then come down here. Change people. With the obstruction of the old black squad leader, the two of them finally got off the parallel bars. However, both of them remained focused on each other. The two of them went down, and Chu Feng and Li Erniu got into a fight. Chu Feng was doing it effortlessly, but not too hastily, and his performance was very ordinary. On the other hand, Li Erniu had a fierce face, gritted his teeth and couldn't get down for half a day. The old black squad leader roared angrily. "Put your body down." Li Erniu tried hard, but in the end, his body fell down, but he landed on both feet. He couldn't do any of this action. This made the new recruits around shake their heads secretly. In previous training, Li Erniu was the one who held back the most. Whether it's running or anything, it's always the last place. This time on the parallel bars, not a single one can be achieved. What a coward. He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing looked at it and couldn't help but curl their lips. Being in the same class as such people makes them feel embarrassed. The old black squad leader was so angry that his eyes widened in anger. His gaze turned and fell on He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing. He Chengwang. Wang Yanbing. Arrive. Since you two can do this, Li Erniu will leave it to you too. Ah. He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing looked at each other with a reluctant expression on their faces. In the previous training, the old black squad leader also did the same, often handing over the backward Li Erniu to them. For example, weight-bearing running. They usually run first. But the score is calculated based on the time Li Erniu arrived. Helpless, they could only go back and pull Li Erniu. Now, the old black squad leader actually wants to hand over this burden to them again. What? Not willing. The old black squad leader saw the thoughts of the two. Regarding this, Wang Yanbing said angrily. Report. Always carry him with you. I think I'll be dragged down. Although He Chengwang didn't speak next to him, he still thought the same way. He agreed so for the first time with his old rival Wang Yanbing's words. Both of them are determined to compete for the first place, and they really don't want a burden to hold them back. Upon hearing this, the old black squad leader reprimanded. He's your comrade in arms. You're one. However, judging from their genuine unwillingness, old black did not force them either. After all, even if you reluctantly agree, you may not be able to take care of Li Erniu well. And it used to be handed over to the two of them, so it's time to switch people this time. Glancing around, old black's gaze fell on Chu Feng, who was still performing standard movements on the other side of the parallel bars. Chu Feng. Li Erniu has given it to you. We must meet the standards tomorrow. I will personally inspect it. Perhaps afraid that Chu Feng would also refuse, Lao He added. This is a command. Yes. Chu Feng responded calmly. After the explanation, the old black squad leader left angrily. Without the competition between He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing, everyone went to search for parallel bars training separately. Chu Feng finished his own quantity and immediately walked over to Li Erniu to assist him in his movements. Li Erniu's face showed shame. I'm sorry, Brother Feng, I've implicated you. Chu Feng shook his head lightly and said, it's okay. At this moment, Wang Yanbing shook his head and said to Chu Feng. Chu Feng, Li Erniu doesn't have this talent, even if the heavenly king Laozi comes, it's useless. Take on this tiring task, there will be times when you regret it. He Chengwang also nodded beside him, agreeing with Wang Yanbing's talent. He comes from a sports background and has won the boxing championship. I have experienced his grandfather's guidance on shooting since I was young. He has a deeper sense of talent. Those classmates who were trained in the same group either eliminated early or persevered without making any progress. No one, like him, can win a boxing championship at a young age and receive a notice from a sports university. Although it may sound a bit inflated, He Chengwang believes that his talent accounts for a large part of it. Upon hearing Wang Yanbing's words, Li Erniu, who had just climbed onto the parallel bars, almost fell off again with a weak hand. He has been doing whatever he wants since he was young, and in the end, he can only go to the construction site to make a living. After being deceived, he happily entered the army. But I didn't expect to still pull my hips the same way. He, who had already suffered a heavy blow, now feels even more insecure when he hears Wang Yanbing's words. Hanging on the parallel bars, I almost burst into tears. Look at his unremarkable appearance. Chu Feng, just wait for the old black squad leader to scold you tomorrow. He Qingguang, let's go. Our competition is not over yet. After speaking, the two of them went to compete on the parallel bars again. Chapter 10. Short-term crash practice. Kneeling for freshness. You are listening at novel.Audio. Chapter 10. Short-term crash practice. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward the day's training is over. After dissolution, when everyone was eager to run back, Chu Feng pulled Li Erniu to stay. If you want to meet the standards in a short period of time, how can you do it without practice? After a day of training, Chu Feng found that Li Erniu still made little progress. He began to train Li Erniu in the same way his former master had trained him. It's about using specific movements to beat and torture the body. Li Erniu has good physical abilities. I can make a living on the construction site, but my physical condition is too poor to stay. But he's just a bit chubby, as long as he can strengthen his exercise and train his arm strength specifically. It's definitely not a problem to meet the parallel bars standard. However, ordinary methods are difficult to achieve results in the short term. So besides teaching Li Erniu how to train movements, Chu Feng also secretly stimulating Li Erniu's body with his own strength. In order to complete the task assigned to him by the old black squad leader before tomorrow. Although this method takes effect much faster than regular exercise, it cannot be effective in just 1 or 2 hours. So, after practicing for a while, Li Erniu could only tremble and reluctantly make a brace. He Chengwang and Wang Yanbing were both curious when they saw Chu Feng using a very novel training technique. But after looking for a while, I found that the effect was also difficult to average. There's nothing magical about it. At this pace, not to mention tomorrow, even the day after tomorrow, Li Erniu will definitely not be able to meet the standards. Wang Yanbing disdainfully said. Chu Feng, can you teach Li Erniu 2 random movements so he can train to meet the standards? Isn't it too presumptuous? It seems that tomorrow we will have to watch a great show. He Chengwang frowned lightly and also shook his head gently. These are all physical exercises in traditional Chinese martial arts. But this requires practice from a young age and long-term persistence. Chu Feng, you must know that this short-term is useless. If you make Li Erniu sharpen his gun in the face of the situation, he will definitely not meet the target tomorrow. Regarding this, Chu Feng calmly replied. I don't need your guidance on how to do it. If it's okay, don't disturb our training. Upon hearing this, both of them shrugged their shoulders indifferently and turned around to leave. After walking into the distance, He Chengwan turned around and glanced at the 2 people who had been practicing, saying, these 2 guys really don't listen to advice. It's estimated that Li Erniu will make a fool of himself tomorrow, and Chu Feng won't be able to escape punishment either. Wang Yanbing sneered. This guy is arrogant every day and doesn't care about anyone. He's pretending to be a master there. Humph. I'm really looking forward to his expression tomorrow. Let's see if the old black squad leader can still be so noble when punishing him. After speaking, the 2 of them left gracefully. They are new top recruits, so naturally they don't need any extra training. Now is a good time to rest. On this side, Li Erniu fell off the parallel bars again. With a guilty expression on his face, he said sadly. Brother Feng, I'm really sorry. It's me who's dragging you down. Tomorrow is so crucial that you will be punished by the class monitor. She said she was going to cry again. Upon seeing this, Chu Feng smiled slightly and comforted him, saying, don't you believe in yourself, don't you still believe in me? Li Erniu choked up and nodded, I believe you. Since you believe me, then train well and don't daydream. You will definitely become stronger than He Qingguang, Wang Yanbing, and the two of them. Upon hearing this, Li Erniu hesitated for a moment and asked in a silly voice, really? Chu Feng nodded firmly. Looking at Chu Feng's appearance, Li Erniu suddenly felt incredibly moved. From Chu Feng, he felt trust and concern for the first time. This makes his heart warm. This is an experience he has never had before. From childhood to adulthood, he spent his time in a low voice. My classmates say he's stupid, but my teacher says he's not the kind of person who goes to school. His parents often scold him too. As I grow up, every job I do comes to an end without success. Colleagues criticize him for not understanding anything, and the boss scolds him for not being able to do anything. In the end, he could only curl up on the construction site and work hard to make a living. Now, no one despises him anymore, everyone praises him for his strength and down-to-earth work. But later, for some reason, he was fooled into the army by that sleazy guy. Just join the army, it's just training. I have plenty of strength. With such thoughts in mind, Li Erniu happily began his life as a new recruit. But reality gave him a hard slap. He has become the stupid and useless person who can't do anything and is the #1 eater. This made him want to give up at one point, even under the guise of a deserter. But now, there is someone who trusts him like this, thinking he can do well. In an instant, Li Erniu felt his whole body covered in strength. For the sake of Feng Ji's trust in himself, even if it's not for himself, we still have to fight for it. We must not easily disappoint Brother Feng's expectations. With such a belief hovering in his mind, Li Erniu wiped away his tears and resolutely devoted himself to training. As time passed, he also made progress bit by bit. The night passed quickly. The two have been training all along, without any rest in between. Chu Feng possessed traditional Chinese medicine and stayed up all night without feeling anything. Under the stimulation of the strong Chu wind, Li Erniu was also sleepless and tireless. Li Erniu himself was also amazed by this. This evening, Li Erniu made great progress. So big that he couldn't even believe it himself. This also helped him regain some confidence. I'm finally not that useless loser who can't do anything anymore. And all of this, we must thank Chu Feng for always accompanying us. After completing a set of movements on the parallel bars again, Li Erniu choked up and grabbed Chu Feng's hand. Keep saying thank you. He believes that his progress is all thanks to Chu Feng. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to persist, let alone make any progress. When the first bright light appeared in the sky, the gathering whistle also sounded on time. The new recruits have welcomed a new day of training.